Too loud? I have seen my dreams shatter on the ground, and I have been so lost, no hope could be found. But I just keep on going through the sunshine and the rain, 'cause God didn't promise a heart of love with no pain. 'Cause in that land of promise, no one will ever die. A perfect heart will replace the one when broke makes us cry. God will hold us in His arms and wipe the tears away, and we'll enjoy eternity, 'cause we're at home to stay. We're at home to stay. So I just keep on going, keep pressing toward the prize, 'cause I know what awaits me far beyond the skies. Well, there'll be no separation, no tear-dimmed eyes, no hearts will ever break, no more sad goodbyes. 'Cause in that land of promise, no one will ever die. A perfect heart will replace the one who broke makes us cry. God will hold us in His arms, wipe the tears away. We'll enjoy eternity, 'cause we're at home to stay. We're at home to stay. Is that a little better? We'll make everybody happy. Happy? That's good. That's good. My dad, I don't tell this to everybody, but most of you know, my dad is a brother to my Uncle Hubert back there. And he died a few years ago, and he wrote this song about 20 years ago, I guess it was. And it just never did mean nothing to me. And he would sing it and then set apart, recorded it, and sung it for a long time. And Dad had died, and I went with them had to fill in to sing. The boy was quitting, and I went in and filled in and sung for about 6 months. And that song was one of the songs I had to sing. And since he had died, it started meaning more to me. A lot of things don't mean nothing to you till somebody's gone. And talks about Grandpa. Now, there's all kinds of stuff goes through my mind. Every time I sing this song, it brings back lots of memories. And one memory I have is my grandpa and Ma Davis lived over in Mooneyham, and in their front yard they had a big old oak tree. You couldn't even reach around it. And during the summertime, for a week, I'd go stay. Sometimes Sander would come, and Cassie May, another cousin, and Tony, and we'd play in that front yard, and Pa would sit on the porch sometimes and watch us, and sometimes it's just out there by herself. And I mean, that's in the days of no Nintendo, and all you had was a stick and a mud pie, and enjoy yourself. we had church because that's how we was raised. We had church. I'd preach, Cassie May would shout, and Sandra would lead the songs, and we'd get Tony saved. You know, what's happened to them days? We've lost that, ain't we? And that's how you raise your kids in a certain way, and you grow up to be like that. And I sure wish we could have some more meetings under the tree, don't you?
Amen.
I saw an old man sitting in his old rocking chair on the porch of a house he had lived in many long years. He looked o'er the fields he had tended in his younger days, and with a smile on his face, it seems I can still hear him say, this land that I live on, it all belongs to the Lord. And this house that I live in was built from the trees that he formed. And the family he gave me is only a gift from above. Everything that I'm blessed with came down with hands filled with love. He started rocking as he gave the chair arms a stroke. He brushed back the tears, swallowed a lump in his throat. He said, I remember the child that the Lord took away, but he gave us two more. We'll all meet in heaven someday. This land that I live on, it all belongs to the Lord. This house that I live in was built from the trees that he formed. And the family he gave me is only a gift from above. Everything that I'm blessed with came down with hands filled with love. The old man is past, the old house is faded away, but he lives in a new one that's built never to decay. And I'm going to see him when my life down here is over. And we'll be together to live forevermore. This land that I live on, it all belongs to the Lord. This house that I live in was built from the trees that he formed. And the family he gave me is only a gift from above. Everything that I'm blessed with came down with hands filled with love. Everything that I'm blessed with came down with hands filled with love. joy and peace, where the tree of life is blooming there forever. And that sounds like home to me, like where I want to be. There'll be no tears to fill our eyes again. The hills will echo with a story as we sing His grace and glory, where the saints of God will be. That sounds like home to me. They say there's mansions there inside that city, a crystal river flowing by the tree of life. No pain or disappointments there to hurt us, and Jesus Christ Himself will be the light. That sounds like home to me, like where I want to be. There'll be no tears to fill our eyes again. The hills will echo with a story as we sing His grace and glory, where the saints of God will be. That sounds like home to me, where the saints of God will be. That sounds like home to me. Still learning. Which I said I'm kin to Hubert, and Hubert's oldest boy, Mikey, me and him, in later years, my older years from my childhood, we got big buddies, go to horse sales together, and ride horses and all that stuff. We always had that common ground, just like Terry and a bunch of us have, and I got really close to him, probably too close, way too close. But we go to horse sales and talk a whole lot that, you know, white guys do that you don't normally do. And you get to know that person. And Mikey, he always lived a rough life. That's just the way it was. Everybody knows it. That's just the way it was. Mikey lived a rough life. And he struggled with living for God. He would back and forth, in and out. He struggled with it. And we was going to horse sale one night, and it was bothering me bad, because he would talk about it some, and I just asked him, just flat out one night, I just asked him, I said, Mikey, I want to know, has God ever saved your soul? He said, yes, He has. I said, how do you know? I want to know. You tell me, how do you know? Because I could feel Him in my heart. I give Him my heart and my soul, and I could feel Him I could feel something down in there. I know God saved my soul. So that's what I'm banking on, that I'll get to see Him again. Nobody ain't perfect. Nobody ain't perfect, and I sure ain't. But I'm going to meet Him someday, and Willie, I want to sing this song for you, buddy. I was walking just yesterday through a flower garden in bloom, and the fragrance from the budding stems cast a rich perfume. And it crossed my mind to realize when I see the yellow marigolds, somewhere down below there's a place where flowers don't grow. I heard a preacher tell about a place of beauty so rare, that God had worked so long on it, His throne sits in the city four square. That flowers bloom every day in shades like a rainbow, so I wouldn't go to a place where flowers don't grow. It was on the cross of Calvary the rose of Sharon did bloom. The crimson blood He shed for me overcast the black gloom and doom. The rugged cross He bore along robbed His strength from the heavy load, so I wouldn't go to a place where flowers don't grow. I stood by a grassy mound, laid a wreath of flowers on her grave. I thought how they would bloom again, God's flower garden someday. When I walk that street of gold, they'll greet me with a hug and hello, and say I'm glad you're here and you missed where flowers don't grow. It was on the cross of Calvary the rose of Sharon did bloom. The crimson blood He shed for me overcast the black gloom and doom. The rugged cross He bore along robbed His strength from the heavy load, so I wouldn't go to a place where flowers don't grow. So I wouldn't go to a place where flowers don't grow. I'm going to sing this song to myself, but if the shoe fits, wear it. Some folks say the Christian life is not for them. To live for Christ is just too hard, they could never be like Him. Some folks may blame others for the wrong that they do, but I found out without a doubt my trouble's walking in my shoes. If I could just remind myself to get out of God's way, walk up close behind the Lord, I'll never go astray. I can't blame no one but me for the wrong that I might do. I found out without a doubt my trouble's walking in my shoes. Sometimes we may feel that walking all alone, when troubles overtake us, seems like all our hope is gone. And if we feel the Lord's not near, then take a guess who moved. I found out without a doubt my trouble's walking in my shoes. If I could just remind myself to get out of God's way, walk up close behind the Lord, I never go astray. I can't blame no one but me for the wrong that I might do. I found out without a doubt my trouble's walking in my shoes. If I could just remind myself to get out of God's way, I found out without a doubt my trouble's walking in my shoes. I'm going to sing one more. I'm glad Mom come, and me and Tree come today. There's one thing about it. Nobody in this world may not like my singing, but my mama does. Thank you. Every time I come here, I think of a lot of different things. We used to live at the foot of, I always known it as Bigford Hill, and they told me it was something else. Steekley. Okay. I know it is Bigford Hill, but we lived down there by F. George in a little old house, and I said I had horses, and I was two, when they took up I had my eyes operated on. And Dad worked at a shirt factory in Pikeville, and they took up a little offering deal to buy me a present. Dad goes and buys me a little black pony. They didn't like it. He worked with, and they said, "How can a 2-year-old have a black pony?" He said, "That's what he wanted." So that little black pony, that was the meanest thing that I've ever had. It was mean as the devil, and it had a little coat, and I was out there, and Mom was picking blackberries, and she told me, the reason my mom's so protective is I had a brother that would have been older than me, and he died when he was 2. So Mom was, I couldn't get off the porch if it wasn't for my dad. And he'd throw me out there, and just what happened, you know. And so I was out there with them, and she was picking blackberries, and she said, "Don't you bother that coat. Don't you touch that coat." I caught her back turn, like boys do, and I sneaked over, and I was just about ready to touch it, and I heard her scream, and I turned just in time for that little black pony to run right over me, knock me down. She come running out there and jerked me up, and Mom, she's in a crisis. I don't want her around because she just folds up. She took me in there and stood me. I remember standing on the commode and in my underwear and her washing me off. And she said, "You've got to change your underwear." I said, "Why? They ain't dirty." And she said, "We might have to go to the doctor." She had took me to the doctor so many times, the doctor told her to quit bringing me back. Everything that go wrong, she'd do that. But thank God for moms. Because all the time, Mom taught me of Jesus in a subtle way. Because she lived it. Mom never did shout. She never has jumped the benches. She never has done none of that stuff. But she's been there. No telling how many times in the morning, as a teenage boy, I'd come in 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and ease in, and I'd say, "Mom, you awake?" Yeah. I'd sit there and I said, I got something to talk about. We'd sit there and talk. Sometimes for hours, and she should have killed me because she had to get up to go to work. That's being a mom. That's being a mom. And I'm thankful for her. I said all that just to say I don't tell her enough. And I take her for granted. But I love you, Mom. She lay on her dying bed, million thoughts running through her head. All the troubles in her life, all the sorrows, pain and strife. But someone had told her of salvation story and a home above. I have accepted him, this she told. What a way to go. What a way to go. What a way to leave this world. Close your eyes and say goodbye. Wake up in a brand new life. What a way to end the tears, all the heartaches from your fears. To live forever and not grow old. What a way to go. Clutched his dear wife's hand, said it's time for the angel band. I've lived longer than I should, more than the doctor said I could. But I'll be waiting for you on that shore, where we live forevermore. I'll say goodbye to say hello. What a way to go. What a way to go. What a way to leave this world. Close your eyes and say goodbye. Wake up in a brand new life. What a way to end the tears, all the heartaches from your fears. To live forever and not grow old. What a way to go. To live forever and not grow old.